if you've ever been to a hotel, you've surely seen these signs behind me. Obviously, the architecture of the hotel is how the walls and this main construction are made, and the organization is how we actually use it. But I don't think this is clear unless we actually build one. And I think the best place to do it is here. So come with me. This is the best place to do it. So we said the architecture was mainly the walls, right? So let's place some walls, like that. I don't want you right now. But that means the architecture is the hardware, the actual chips, circuits, cables, everything that's physically part of the computer. But that also includes the internal walls, so let's put some. But that also includes the internal walls, so let's put some. Put one here and one here. There we go. But the architecture also defines what the hardware can do, what instructions it can actually execute. And we're going to represent that by putting some doors. So let's have a main door here, let's have a door here and another one here, why not? And another two doors here, and a side door, because why not? And, of course, how it can interact with the outside world. That is, all of the input and output devices are the protocols that it can handle from them. And we're going to represent that with some windows, because this place is way too dark. A lot of windows. And there's one more thing. The architecture also defines the complexity of the instructions that the hardware can execute. That is, how many bits it can receive. And we're going to represent that by changing the width of some of these doors. So this door is now going to be a triple width door, like this one. And the side door is going to be double width. Let's use this one for that. And this extra door here is also going to be double width. Like that. And let's put one of those drive-through windows as another means of interaction with the outside world. What? You thought it was a house? You'll see why in a minute. So the organization tells us what we can do with the architecture. The organization, on the other hand, is how we use that architecture that has been provided. So if the architecture is telling us you have a drive-through window, well, how are we going to actually administer that? How are we going to actually take the order? We obviously need, at the very least, to have a menu out there. So let's purchase a screen for that. One of these really stupidly big ones. And a speaker so that the car can talk to us. And we're going to represent that with this weird thing. Like that. These are called control signals. This is how the different components of the system talk to each other. And this is not just actual communication at all. It's also what happens if an instruction is legal or not. So how can we represent that here? Let's say these doors here in the back. Let's say that those are the bathrooms. And you want to define which one's the men's bathroom and which one's the women's bathroom. So we can put a little sign on the door, right? So we can replace this door with one that has the sign for the men's room, and we can replace this door with one that has the sign for the women's restroom. Notice though, it's the same number of doors. All I did was add a sign on them. They're the same width, they're in the same place. The organization does not change the underlying architecture. So, this is clearly a place where people are going to want to come and they're going to want to eat, right? So, in the computer, that means that this is a system that is going to be getting different signals, different interruptions, different messages from devices and from users. And what am I going to do with them? How am I going to handle them? Well, if they are people that are coming to eat, they need a place to sit. So we need to buy some tables. So let's pick some tables here. And let's put a few of them here. Like that. And finally, the organization tells us how to handle the system's memory. What am I going to do with all these orders that are coming in? And I don't mean the orders from the Sims here. I mean the orders from all the devices, all these instructions that are coming in. How am I going to handle them? Again, back to the metaphor. We're going to need a big order screen somewhere. So let's say that this place here is the kitchen, and we're going to put the screen there. So we need to go back to screens and put this big screen here. And we're going to have another screen here, which is going to be where people are going to actually place the order. And let's do something like this and put a counter here so people can actually place their order. Like this. So why did we hop into the best house builder and not build a house and build a McDonald's instead? Because it turns out that this is exactly the way McDonald's functions. McDonald's is not a food company. They're a real estate company. They don't own the production chain. What they own is the land the restaurant sits on. And then they rent that land out to the franchisee. And they say, build me something that looks like this, follows this architecture, is organized in this way. And once you follow these instructions, you can do whatever you want with it.
Is there a problem?
A big one. You don't seem to realize what business you're in. You're not in the burger business. You're in the real estate business. Land. That's where the money is.
That's why there's, at the same time, so much variety from one McDonald's to the next, and so much standardization. And if you think this is nuts, this is exactly the way ARM works. They design chipsets, CPUs, circuit boards, but they don't build a single one. They don't put them in computers. They just sell the blueprints, and they leave everything else to everyone else. ARM is a company that has been trying to take the lead from Intel since its very beginning. And they have done pretty well. But the reference, the leader, is still Intel, and particularly the x86 architecture. The x86 architecture is so popular, it has even beaten out all the other architectures that Intel has proposed. So, I'm sorry, ARM, you've done really well, but Intel is still the global leader. So let's review. The architecture gives us the instructions, the number of bits it can process, and the input and output protocols given by the designer of the actual hardware, while the organization gives us the control signals, the interfaces, and how to handle the system's memory. As computer scientists, we are more concerned about the organization, and we leave the architecture to the electronics and computer engineers and everyone else that does the actual design of the circuit board.